why are these eggshells
so
beneficial for all of this here, or well, the flowering plants, as you put it?
Now here you are. You're just like forcing the question. Anyway, we keep all our compost separate. We do our organic compost in one. We do like poop compost in another, and we do eggshell compost in another, because each form of compost has a different nutrient that it gives, and it's meant for a different kind of plant or a different plant in its different stage of life. Eggshells contain high potassium. Now this is something that many plants that are fruiting and or flowering say, yes, that's what I want, but only while I'm fruiting and flowering. Before that they want nitrogen and other things. Phosphorus and potassium are really huge for flowering, fruiting. So we keep our eggshells separate from our compost so that I can go, well, compost everywhere. Eggshells just on the ones that are bringing us yumness. We also have vermiculture farms over there. We use that for everything. We use our compost for everything. This only for flowering and fruiting.
And vermiculture is worms. You're raising worms, is that correct?
We run worm farms. That is correct. And basically what we do is we take a big muck of coffee grounds and compost, and green compost, not really brown matter. Brown matter stays in our larger compost along with our other ones. We put them all in there. They eat it all up. They poop. They create a beautiful soil-like texture. There's nothing but worm poop. We use that. We also drain out all the worm juice, and we use that as specified fertilizer for, again, things that are flowering and fruiting. And we also take all the worms that keep breeding and we send them out in the garden.
What do you have growing right around here in this immediate area?
We've got broccoli, Waltham broccoli in this first area that's seeding and flowering. Romanesco up in the next rows. We've got sunflowers, romaine lettuce, black-seeded Simpson lettuce, cosmos, marigolds, wildflowers, peas, beets, radishes, carrots, tomatoes, kohlrabi. We had some baby bok choy that was already harvested, a bunch of kale, both the purple Vienna kale and also the dwarf blue. Bush beans over there. We've got a couple cotton plants just for shits and giggles. This is kind of our vegetable herb garden here, and then over there you get more into the herbs and a few veggies mixed in.
And so everything is pretty much everything is edible here then?
Everything is either edible or usable in some way. Everything in this garden is straight up edible. Even the borage, which are those little purple flowers that are kind of more heading to the end of their life. Not the Cosmo ones, but these little ones here with little star flowers on them. You can actually boil their leaves and use them in salads because they're kind of a little bit coarse and rough. Beyond that, you can also make a lot of tinctures from them. You can utilize them in teas. But beyond that, they are borage, cosmos, and marigold are some of the best companion plants you could ever have in your garden. They create positive insects coming through. We are loaded with bees, pollinators, things like that. Red ladybugs. We've even got all this bark here that we pulled from the forest, and that is meant to be both a compost and a mulch. It provides shelter from the sun, so moisture stays in the ground. They're sponge-like, so it holds the moisture in far beyond any of our clay soil would. It also provides many different kinds of nutrients for all types of vegetation, flowering, and beyond that, what we're doing is permaculture is building the layers up. You don't till it over every year. You build up. You put down bark dust and compost and horse shit and all this stuff, and you keep building the layer up higher so that you have this nothing but soft layer that the roots can just grow right through, that is nothing but filled with nutrients. Also, with the larger bark pieces there, we leave those there so that when the moles come through and dig their hills, we love moles, we don't try and kill them. When they dig their holes, we grab those big pieces of bark and we shove them down their holes until they won't go anymore. Sometimes we have to push them about 9-10 feet, sometimes usually 2 to 4. But what that allows us to do is they loosened up all the dirt, created a hole, allowed us to shove a nutrient-laden sponge into the hole. that's this, but underground, so the roots can go into it, so it can decompose even more quickly. Moles are my friends. I do not tell them to go away. I do not kill them. I do not do anything with them. I say dig your holes, and everybody here, make sure that we watch when a new hole pops up, shove bark chips down it, because that, like the big pieces, because that way the moles can't get up through it again, because it's too thick and hard for them. But it's also a giant sponge of nutrients. So they're actually our friends. They're our alternate work traders.
You hear that, CIA? Oh wait, no, we're talking about the animals.
Different kinds of mold!
Anyway, so what about people normally find moles to be pests, right? Why is that?
Well, because they don't keep on their shit. Frankly, moles go through and they create your mounds and everything, and people go, oh, you're digging up my plants, because they love things like peppers and stuff like that. They go for them straight every time. The roots are so delectable. They just love them. So they'll come up once and they'll be like, God damn it, now I gotta like replant this, make sure it's good, check the root system and all that. But that's early in the season. Once you begin teaching them and training them, by the time you're in the first month, you've already filled all the holes around those things that they want to eat. So then they just kind of start popping up in various places. And so what they're doing is they're loosening the undersoil. And then they are also creating these holes for us to say, that was formerly clay, acidic soil. And we now have the option to grab this 30 years old decomposing bark, place it down in a manner that causes them to say, oh, I just dug this out because I want to be here, now I can't be there. But what can be there? Yummy, yummy, nutrient-filled sponges that are so hard the moles can't go up through them again. Earlier on in the year, they kept going for each pepper plant, and it was like, God damn it, is this pepper plant okay? Because it got pushed up by the molehill, you know? And so it's like, yeah, it's okay, it's just a little seedling, it'll be a couple weeks of like root damage, recompensation. So as we continue doing this more and more, like in 2-3 years, what that means is they're not even going to be able to get through anymore, and they're also going to be trained out of being in this area, because we don't stop them from any other areas outside the gardens. So they'll not only be trained out of being this area, but they'll have dug underneath the ground for us. Way more than we could ever do while we're still building our soil up every single year. And so we just keep being able to pop in hard, nutrient-filled sponges that they can't dig through. And so basically they're allowing us to put nutrients deep under the ground for the roots. Also, literally sponges that hold water in much more than the clay will. Also, it'll break up easier than the clay. So they're going through the ground, they're breaking up this hard clay acidic soil and allowing us to put in other things that will balance it out all properly.